Alright, so I just got done packing. Brittany just left. Kind of sad, but you know, life goes on. So I slept for 3 hours since the last vlog, and now I gotta go get on a plane and go back to New Hampshire. And the reason why I'm going there is not typical reason for traveling, which is debauchery and, you know, rampant drug abuse and seeing the world. Nope, I'm going back where I came from, New Hampshire, hang out with my parents. Main objective though is to see my nephews. Henry is a little under 3, he's like 2.5 or so. Teddy, 6 months. Amazing kids, the best fucking kids, and you know, just got to see the parents from time to time, and they were kind of, you know, they'll start to build up a little bit of pressure about me going home and seeing them once I haven't seen them for a while. So they finally got to me. My mom took a week off work so she can hang out with me every day. I'm just going back and I'm just gonna spend some nice quality family time and hopefully just relax, stress relief, see some old friends. We'll see how it goes, but either way, this is not gonna be fun. Getting on the plane, very little sleep. I'm hungry as fuck. I'm gonna get really stoned before I go on the plane.
Another nigga bitch with me. She tryna talk slick to me. For my partner, baby mama, I don't got no sympathy. For my daddy, why? Cause he ain't never did shit for me. My cousin ran off, I fucked this baby mama instantly.
Okay, I'm at LAX. I let Brittany convince me to change my alarm from 7:30 to 8:15. And then the traffic was insanely bad. I missed my flight. So now I gotta fly out at 10 p.m., which is approximately 12 hours from now. So now I have to Uber back home and then basically just hang out in my room for like 8 hours and then Uber back here. So end result, basically that I just wasted like $60, which is not all that bad, all things considered, because I get in at like 9 in the morning and I was supposed to get in at like 8 o'clock at night, so whatever, really. Trying to look on the bright side. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna go home and fucking hang out on the internet and maybe take a nap, which at the end of the day is better than most things. Now I just basically have like 8 hours to kill or some shit. So I only slept 2 hours, so I'm probably gonna have to sleep for at least a little bit. I got some Uber Eats coming right now. All right, so long, boring day of, well, I took a nap, ordered some food, read a shitload of articles online. Basically the kind of stuff that makes for a really, really boring vlog is what I did today in between missing my first flight. And now I'm about to probably pound the rest of this Hennessy, smoke a blunt with Brandon, and then hop in the Uber and go and try to make my next flight. And the deal with this one is that I leave at 10 o'clock from LAX. I land in Buffalo very briefly, and then I land in Boston about 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not sure if I'm going to take a bus to New Hampshire or if I'm going to just get picked up by my parents there. But either way, I'm going to have to sleep on the plane because I'm just going to go hang out with the little babies as soon as I get there. So very exciting. True baby hours, true nephew hours. Trust me, like, I know there's a lot of debauchery in these videos, a lot of insanity, a lot of, you know, mischief per se. But once you see these little kids, you're gonna melt. You're gonna turn into a fucking blubbering pool of fucking goo just like I do because the kids are so cute. And my favorite part is that Henry, who's 2.5, is like finally old enough to be conscious of like having an uncle who lives on the other side of the country and he doesn't get to see him that often, so he actually gets like the anticipation of like he's really excited that I'm coming, which just feels awesome because, you know, I don't get to see him that often, only a couple of times a year, but I don't know, it's just, to be soft for a second, it means a lot to me that he actually like gets it and like is excited that I'm coming. So you guys gonna be all right without me for a week?
I don't know, maybe. Yes. Big boys. Yeah, I think we got this. Mucho taro.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Yep. Got plenty of redo.
All right, so I'm in the Uber with Ray Brown, aka all around town Ray Brown.
That's me. That's me.
He is 54 years old, and he is spitting hella knowledge to me.
Right.
He's like been out in LA his whole life, and I asked him if he had any kind of story, like motivational story, that he might want to tell to the viewers on YouTube, because he was pretty curious about YouTube and everything. So, what do you got?
Check this out. Real talk. My name is Ray Brown. They call me all around town Ray Brown. Check this out. I was homeless 7 years ago. And when I was homeless, it's because of recession. So one thing I learned about being homeless, and this is what inspired me to where I'm at today, where I'm creating a startup that's been approved by Washington, D.C. in the energy field. I'm about to get 2 degrees in less than 6 months. Check this out. This is how I got started. When I was homeless, I realized this. At first, I couldn't figure out. I was like most people out here in the streets, man, couldn't figure out what was going on. Then all of a sudden, I seen the light in time of darkness. And that light was that I finally realized that man evolved from outside. So if man evolved from outside, everything you see today was a thought before it became reality. So my cue for telling you this is that in order for you to become independent and understand where life is, you have to raise your intellect, because knowledge is the key to all. Man raised his intellect when he created houses and homes and apartment buildings. That's how he got out the cold. So my word to the people out there living in the streets, in order for you to go back inside, raise your intelligence, because first of all, when you're homeless, you're in your natural environment. Man evolves from outside. But see, words that are in America is meant to be detrimental to the mindset, such as the word homeless. There's no such thing as homeless, because first of all, if you're homeless, that means that you're not living in a man-made structure. You come from outside. So the key to all this is raise your intelligence and your horizons will broaden. Because one of my favorite English teachers told me this. She said, young man, always remember this. When you put knowledge in your brain will constantly expand. When you stop learning, your brain instinctively regresses. So it's like that old saying when the parents say, I can't do my children's homework. My children's homework has got too hard. No, you got to back that up. Your children's homework has not gotten hard. You just stopped learning.
Right.
That's it.
Hey, that's real as fuck. So what? So you, at what point in your life did you realize like the power of just educating yourself, and that could take you out of here?
When I started being grateful for being alive, because see, check this out. See, a lot of people wake up, see, that says, I'm not a real religious person, but I'm a God-fearing man. But it says that we all are sinners. So I say the key to life is, it's not when you get out of bed, it's when you first move, when you first blink your eyes, when you first realize you done made it to another day. Once you realize you done made it to another day, your next step from that point should be trying to make that day better than the day before. Why? Because you begin another day of life. So the key to life is being thankful, because when you're not thankful, that's when all hell breaks loose. Why? Because first of all, you don't have first base covered as a sinner, which is being grateful for being alive. If you give thanks, you'd be surprised how your mind will expand and explore the beautiness of being alive. Most people live to die. You have to learn to live. You have to learn to live. And most people don't do that. That's why they wake up disgruntled every day, because they don't appreciate the life they have. So until you realize that, your life is going to be in turmoil, because life is meant to be enjoyed. Property is a state of mind. It's not a cause. So without the word property, then where would you be at?
I feel you. Hey, so the one other thing, can you tell me, for the viewers out there, the story you were telling me about your perspective on feeling old or living like you're old?
Okay. Well, you know, you hear from most people, and most people usually start off at 30, 40 years old. The first thing they start doing is when the bones start creaking and things start not going the way they want to say they're too old for something. Well, how can you be too old for something when man used to live to be hundreds and hundreds of years old? So imagine this. When you get to a certain point in your life and you start thinking you're too old, look at the person next to you that may be a little bit older. They may not be saying that, but don't you want to live and be like them? So you got one or two choices. Either you can be 100 years old or 100 years young. 100 years old means that you've been complaining about being old for a long time. That's why you're old and grumpy at this point. 100 years young means you never thought about the age. Age didn't even matter to you. Why? Because you concentrate on every day, because first of all, you was grateful for being alive, so that kept the spirit in you young. So as long as you think in a positive way, you'll be surprised what it does to the mindset. So always remember that. You can either be 100 years old or 100 years young. It's a choice you got to make. It's a choice you got to make. When you're at that crossroads, you got to ask yourself, am I too old for this, or do I want to give myself another chance to do what I couldn't do yesterday? But the key to that is being able to see the light into the time of darkness when everything around you seems broken.
Right.
Well, it's not broken, because if you ask yourself on a personal level, I've been there before. It's just at this point, I just can't figure it out. But the cool thing about it is, the bottom line and the end of the story is that every problem is self-imposed, which means you created it.
Right.
So every self-imposed problem has to have a solution, especially if it's created by man. I tell people all the time, when it's not a man-made solution, man-made problem, that's when you need to worry, because it has no man-made solution. But as long as it's a man-made problem, come on. You know, it's like getting a bill in the mail. Why would you worry about a bill and go crazy over a bill and the bill ain't said nothing to you? Well, I was told a long time ago, if you're not ready for the bill, tear it out. And people say, well, why don't you tear the bill up? You got to pay it, because first of all, mentally, you're not ready for it. That's why you're going crazy. So you tear it up and throw it away. Why? Because it plants a seed in your mind that letter's coming back. So now, when it comes back, you're a little bit more at ease, because now you know you got to figure out a way to pay the bill. So if you can't pay it the first time, just tear it up and throw it away. Why? Because you know now you got to wait for the second letter to come. Now your mind is ready. But when you're not ready, hey, get rid of it. Tear it up.
Get rid of it.
Tear it up. It ain't use to worrying about a bill you can't pay for. But when that second letter comes back, I guarantee you wondering when it's gonna be dropped off in the mail. Why? Because now the seed has been implanted.
Right.
It's been put in the brain is very powerful, but enough of us don't utilize it. And I tell people all the time, the key to success is not what you acquire, it's what you overcome. That's the definition of success, because see, people, they make a problem for themselves by making a bad decision. They want to dwell on it. You can't dwell on bad decisions in life. If that's the case, you're gonna be dwelling on that forever and a day. And life is too short to be dwelling. So anything else that you need to hear, hey, listen to that inner voice. The inner voice will tell you everything, because the only motivation you can get is by being alive. So if you don't appreciate being alive, then what's the purpose of being alive?
Hey, this guy, inspirational Uber rides. I've never had any sort of inspirational speech.
He's only
on this
been here
level.
2 weeks.
He's only been doing this for 2 weeks, and he's 54 years old, and he's a lot smarter than a lot of you motherfuckers out there. So listen up, take some inspiration. Thank you very much, Ray. I appreciate it.
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir. And peace out. And always remember this. I got one more saying. The new motto for the millennium is stop blinking and start more thinking.
Hey, don't blink.
Just think.
Just think. Absolutely nothing of interest to report, except that I feel awkward vlogging in public, and I wish that I was higher, or drunker, either one. Right now I'm in Buffalo. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and I have like an hour and a half until my connecting flight. I slept the entire flight, and it was boring, to the extent that sleeping can be boring. And I listened to the Young Thug album like 10 times in a row, because it was the only album I had downloaded, or the only one I had time to download before we took off. And the lady next to me, it was her first ever flight, and she was 55, and she wouldn't shut the fuck up the whole time about it. And the guy next to her said he worked for The Economist, which I found kind of interesting, but then I just put my headphones on and fell asleep anyway. I didn't talk to anybody because I'm an antisocial fuck. So now I'm about to sit in this chair for like an hour to an hour and 20 minutes and try not to fall asleep so that I won't miss the connection. Or if I do fall asleep, I just set my alarm. Isn't this exciting?
Another nigga bitch with me. She tryna talk slick to me. For my partner, baby mama, I don't got no sympathy. For my daddy, why? Cause he ain't never did shit for me. My cousin ran off, I fucked this baby mama instantly.